Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go over the ICT Silver Bullet, the AM session for August 1st. As you can see, this is the light gray area is from the 8:30s equities embargo lifted until 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock starts the Silver Bullet hour, so we will be starting right here. We're going to go candle by candle, and I'm going to buy and sell just like I did live, but I'm going to do it candle by candle via TradingView's platform. So let's get started. Before we even start, we have these two purple dashed lines are the new week opening gap for 7/28, 7/30, so this last weekend. And then this red pinkish dashed line there is the Sunday opening price, okay? So there's our high right here, and then if you scroll back, there's another high up here. Okay, so if we're going to take those out, that's what we'll be aiming for. Sell side would be down here, and all these other swing lows would have sell side liquidity as well, but that'd be the major swing low that we'd be aiming for. Okay, so let's see candle by candle. Let's just get started. Okay, so that right there took out this swing high. So let's mark that on the chart here. Buy side liquidity has been taken. It's also been taken here. Notice how the candle body didn't close above. It just wicked up, right? So when we see that, we got to be watching consequent encroachment, okay? So we'll see how that is. And let's just mark that on the chart just so we kind of know where it's at. Just kind of see how it is. I'm just going to leave that on there just for a few candles to see where we're at here, how it plays out. If it gets too messy up here, I'll take it off. Alright, so let's see what happens here. We wicked above. Notice how the bodies are not going above consequent encroachment at the moment. Okay. So when we have this is a news candle. There's a big, obviously the news came out right there. Yeah, it was the ISM manufacturing PMI came out right here at 10 o'clock, and Jolt's job openings at 10 a.m. So that's why you got this big long candle. So I kind of discount it as like the swing high or low, just because it is newsworthy. So for right now, like if we were going to go down, I'd be looking for this swing right here to be the market structure shift. Not this one, because that's a big news candle. So I kind of take that, it's subjective, of course, but for me, I'd be looking for this to go short. Sell side's already been taken on the 1 hour. We've hit new week opening gaps, the Sunday open. We're expecting consequent encroachment of this long wick so far. So we'll see how this plays out. Okay, next candle. There would be the market structure shift, like I said, right there is what I'd be looking for. And let's see if it gives us any. Okay, right there. Right there we have fair value gap left behind. Okay, so if we come in here, I'll be taking a short, and I put my stop, above this candle because that'd be the first candle of the 3 candle fair value gap. So. Okay, alright, so I'm going to sell 2 right there. Sell there. Let's put our short on. Granted, it would be right there, so I can move this up to where we actually got filled. And move this 1 tick there. And what are we aiming for? That low, so let's go there. Alright. Where would I take a partial? Probably be somewhere right in here, about 60%. I'd like to clear this low right here, so somewhere in here I'd take a partial. Alright, let's move it down. Okay, keep going. Okay, something you want to see is, I love seeing this volume imbalance right here, a bearish volume imbalance when I'm trying to go short. Love seeing it. So the more I see that, and the more I see if there's any fair value gaps that don't get filled, like there's one right here, a small one, and as we keep going, I'd like to see that. Love seeing that in our direction. Another bearish volume imbalance. Is great. Love seeing it. Okay, so right there I've got to take one off. Obviously I said I'd take one there, so let's put this on here where I took my partials. Partials taken there. And then alright, right there. Let's go right here. Right there. Okay, let's flatten that. So we got out right at our line. That's where it closed. Alright, so let's move this one over is where we actually got out. Okay. Alright, so there's that. I'm still targeting this low down here. Let's see if we get it. Alright, that did close there. Close to it. Alright, that closed below. So that one took out sell side liquidity right there. So you remember from the start, I said this is where our high was up here. We showed you over here. And then I said if we were going to go short, all these swing lows would be sell side liquidity, but our ultimate target would be this one. Because if you look, that's for a long time, that's the low. Okay. So that's the low that we want targeted. We just took that out. Let's see if we can go further down. Alright, so where would be, if we were going to go back up, because there's some imbalances over here that I'd like to look at. I mean, there's one there's one there, got one here. Let's put that on here as well. Let's put that one here. Got this value gap there. Let's extend these. So there's some imbalances. So what does price do? Price goes to a external range liquidity, taking out a swing low or high, and then it goes into fulfill an imbalance, and then it goes back out. Right? So what are we aiming for? We're trying to see if it's going to come up and just keep going down. Maybe it comes into this imbalance and comes down. Maybe if it takes out, this would be the swing high that I'd be looking for if it's going to go up and then keep going up. I'd also be pulling my fib from high to low to see where optimal trade entry is, to see how it reacts to that. Let me take this fib off here, actually. Getting a little confusing. So there's a lot of things going on here. Let's just see how it plays out. But right now, I'm still bearish until this high gets taken out with a close above. Is what I'd really like to see. And then I'd like to see how price reacts, because it's going to have to deal with this fair value gap as a speed bump coming back. If it breaks above it, then it'd be a inversion fair value gap, So you just got to see how price plays out. Just because it takes out a swing high, you got to see how it reacts to some things. Okay, well, right there we get a market structure shift. Right there. Now I would like this close right at the thing. I'd like to have another candle close above. Perfect. Okay, I feel better about it. So now we've closed above this fair value gap. So now coming back into this would make this an inversion fair value gap. So I'm going to change that to an inversion fair value gap, because we've came past it now, right? I know it's a lot because there's a market structure with this like this. Market structure shifters in the way. So now we've closed. When it's a fair value gap like this, we're expecting price to hit it and then come back down. Well, when price traded through it, now it's an inversion fair value gap. Yes, you probably could have taken an entry right there. Okay, if you're doing candle by candle, really tight stops with trading it that way, you can, yes. But notice how that candle body stopped right at the bottom of that inversion fair value gap. But we also have a fair value gap right here now. So we're right at that spot. So if we get into this fair value gap at all, I'll be taking a trade. Actually, you know what? Let's take a trade now. Let's do my 2. Because we're at the top of that. And because of trading view, if it comes down and stops above, I'm not going to get an entry. I'll have to take an entry higher, and right here is right at the top of that fair value gap, and we're talking, what, 1 tick or 2 ticks? So I'll buy 2 now. Let's see. Okay, click that up. Oh no. See, I would have taken an entry up here, which would have been a full point higher than what I should have entered at. So technically would have entered there. And what am I aiming for? 5 points, 5 handles, because I don't know if it's going to come back up here. And the reason I would aim for right in here is to fill in these fair value gaps, which price is targeting, looks for. But when I pull a fib from high, like I said, high to low, it's up close to optimal trade entry. You could aim for 10, and 10 would put you back up here in the opening gap. I just need 5. That's all I'm aiming for right now is 5. And the reason I'm aiming for 5 is because I've already taken this huge trade. This big trade already is 10.5 points. I probably wouldn't even take this trade, to be honest, if I already took this. But I'm just showing you what's possible if you came in, maybe you didn't see this and you didn't want to write it down, it was too late, and how you could still take this trade. Hopefully it works out. All right, so let's see. Close above that 50% line. I'll take a trade take a partial. I want to do this, get that set up so I can take a partial. Just got to close above that 50% line. Okay, so I'm going to sell 1 right there. That would have taken it. That would have taken it out right there. If you see where it went, so let me move this out of the way. It would have taken it out right there. So, well, I guess I can flatten it, but that's kind of a crappy spot. So we would have been taken out right here, but in trading view, I'm going to see if there's another candle up here, which I think there is later on. So I'm going to take the better option, but should have taken both of them off right there because this one wicked out through. Would have taken you out right at the full 5 handles. So I'm going to keep playing, see how it trades out. Probably going to take a hit for this. Yeah. But you see how that inversion fair value gap is still holding, right? Inversion fair value gap is very powerful. Stop above. Okay, that's good. That's where I'm at right there. So you can get a little higher, closer to the target. It's a little higher. It's about where we were to the first one. All right, I'll flatten it there, just because it's close enough. And I don't want to get. I know another candle goes way above here, but I want to be fair. So just assume that this entry was over here where it really got out. Okay, that's why we played it out. Let's see how the rest of the hour goes. Respects that until over here, right? But this is how far this gets respected. That's pretty. Let's just see how far it goes. I don't remember how price goes here. Okay. All right. So let's recap. Recap here. I'll take these long positions off and show you the thing. All right. I'll take the fib off. Where's the fib at? Let's take that off. All right. Price came up. Took out a buy-side liquidity pool on the 1H. Hit the new week opening gap and the Sunday opening price. Price at this long wick here, which was formed from the news candle, or the news coming out. That consequent encroachment was never hit by, or was never closed above a candle body above that. So we did respect it. Wicks do the damage, but the bodies tell a story. It didn't hit consequent encroachment. And when we came back down, we saw our market structure shift. We had a fair value gap. We took our trade. We were aiming for the opposing sell side liquidity pool, the major one. There are liquidity pools underneath these swing highs here as well. And so when price came down, we liked seeing the bearish volume imbalances and the fair value gap staying open. Volume imbalance there, staying open. And then we took our partial at about 60% or so based on structure. And then we took our final TP down here. Okay, which I think was like 10.5 points. Then we waited to see what price was going to do. As it was pulling back, we noticed that these opened fair value gaps are going to become resistance. And if they get traded through, then they'll act as support as inversion fair value gaps. So we're just kind of marking out our PD array to see what's going on here. We saw our market structure shift. We saw an inversion fair value gap because we closed above it, and it was respecting it. We saw a fair value gap right below that, so as price came in, we took our trade. Granted, if we already took this first trade, we're not looking to go all the way back up, but we are also aware that if we pull our fib from high to low, we are also looking for optimal trade entry, which is a great side for a reversal, or as far as a pullback may go and then go back down in the direction it was originally going. So we're looking for, we're cognizant of that, right? We know that that could happen. So we took our trade on 5 handles, which gave us to fill in the fair value gaps. It did. The only reason we took our last exit over here is because we tried to get a candle body closed above this area, because this is where our 5 handles would have been. This candle here would have taken us out. But notice how the inversion fair value gap is being held, right? It doesn't get broke until down here. So that's just show you that how strong an inversion fair value gap is. Is it going to hold forever? No, it does eventually break, as all PD arrays do. But for this instance, it did support price. We got another 5 handles. So that is your 2 silver bullet trade setups for August 1st on the AM session. And we got $1,400 in profit.